Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. I'm still bright red like a boiled lobster. Weird that on Teams and other visual media, I have like a nice golden tan, but for some reason on this StreamYard, my settings are all messed up and I'm bright red. But whatever the case is, Andy, you were on the numbers game today?
Yeah, and I punked you out. I panicked. Like they asked me about golf. Bop, bop, bop. Yep, I know what it is. Ask me about football. Yeah, we like this team. We don't like this team. Like, Andy, you do the deep dive with Drew, and you're not on quite as much as him. So you haven't maybe got a chance to. He's like, what's something about Drew that people don't know? And I'm like, and all I could do is thinking about the first time we met in person. And I'm like, shorter than I expected. That's what I went with. I'm like immediately like, why did I have to go mean with it? So
Sure.
I don't know, like because we've always seen each other.
On a 6 foot, yeah.
We've always seen each other from like nipples up on the cams, and then we met. And I just for some reason you just struck me as you're a swimmer. Swimmers are supposed to be a little taller. Maybe that's why I expected like 6'5". No, I mean you're good. I see. No, you're a nice height. It's the tall podcasters scare me.
No. All right, let's talk some Falcons today. We're 3-4 here in the NFC South, our 7th of 8 divisions. And we got a little bit of breaking news to try to digest. It's not certain what's going to happen to Mr. Caleb McGary, but there's not a lot of bona fide badass like veterans on this team. Caleb McGary was certainly one of them. He was your blindside tackle he is your blindside tackle for Michael Penix Jr. And that's because he plays right tackle and Michael Penix Jr. throws with his left hand, Andy. I mean, we don't know. As of the time of this recording, we have no idea the severity of McGary's injury. He was carted off today at practice, but we are going to carry on as if that was precautionary and not a season. And if we get news during the podcast, we'll adjust.
They're doing an MRI. So whenever you're doing an MRI, it's either ligaments or soft tissue, and it was lower body. And we'll get to the backup fill in if we have to. But yeah, I'm probably gonna qualify my offensive line numbers a little like, hey, if he's out for the year, it's certainly not quite as good because this was an offensive line that we held in high esteem for the most part.
Yeah. You can't even backfill with Storm Norton because he's gotten surgery.
I was just going to say, I looked at that. I'm like,
Jack Nelson.
I looked at that. I'm like, man, Storm Norton's banged up too. He's not 100%. It does sound like it would be Elijah Wilkerson who would fill in, even though he's not truly a tackle. He's more of a guard interior guy. So yeah, it's probably a sizable downgrade because Caleb McGary is very good.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Falcons. Easy to forget about this team. I don't think a ton is really expected. There's certainly a hard reset got hit when they pulled the rug on the Kirk Cousins experience last year and put Penix Jr. in, and Penix Jr. proved he could play, but he's an old quarterback, so he should be able to play in his rookie season. And I think ultimately a lot of what we saw with Penix last year was sort of confirmation that he can do the job. And we're going to find out this year if he's able to take advantage of what looks like a pretty decent set of weapons and an offense that has a chance to take a step forward, assuming, again, that Zach Robinson has his full complement of pass protection to work with here. And it's weird because the GM Terry Fontenot has done a lot of things in the last 2 years, Andy, that would warrant immediate termination. like stuff that's just like pack it up, buddy. Like clearly not cut out for this job, including trading away next year's first round pick for a draft project this year. And these guys better hit. Like this defense better be top half of the league with what you've invested now and over the last two drafts, combined with you're bringing in Jeff Ulbrich as your defensive coordinator, which okay, good luck. I mean, it's very tough for me to say that there is sort of a glossy upside where this Falcons team surprises so much to the good that they're in the mix for a home playoff game. But the way that Fontenot has been conducting himself as the GM, you would assume that that's sort of the baseline expectation in the building. Am I wrong?
No, and whenever I look at one of these teams that we're about to talk about, and I start to, dig a little deeper and think about expectations and the range of outcomes, especially, we always look at what has to happen for this team to reach its 99th percentile ceiling. What could go wrong? What could go wrong is always easier. It's just cluster injury, quarterback misses 10 games. Like those are so easy to answer that it's harder to look at what the ceiling is. And I just don't believe that this defense can improve enough to really be a big part of the success. I think it has to obviously reach the ceiling, but the ceiling expectations were always on Penix is good, and you already have the skill position players around him, and you have a good offensive line. And we've already maybe taken a blow to that scenario here this morning. So, despite what they did in the draft and the fact that they really did try to backfill some spots and bring some pieces in that can help them in not only run stop but pass rush. They're both bad at both, and obviously they still need some help at corner. It's still not enough, I think, to make sure this is like the defense is good enough to be an impressive part of this team and a big part of our success. It's still probably a work in progress, and if Fontenot and Morris and everybody wants to be getting some flowers at the end of the year, it needs to probably happen on offense this year. Yeah,
I think that's probably correct. And I guess, if Penix realistically, if he finishes top half of the league EPA per play, you're probably winning 9 games. If he finishes top 10 or top, even top, we'll say 7, then now you're winning the South and you're hosting a playoff game. But it feels like asking a lot. You're like, hey, go be one of the best second-year starters to ever take the field with with a handful of games on your resume, because Penix only started 3 games last year, and there is definitely a world where you can question if you were going to ultimately draft Penix where you did, and if you were ultimately going to have Cousins on a leash in year 1 after paying him for 3. Why not do it sooner so you could get him some more reps so that you could start the process more quickly. And I feel like Penix, with 3 starts under his belt heading into this year, is still you have to rate him like a rookie for the most part. And I think you have to give him a relatively limited ceiling of what he's going to be able to accomplish for the most part, again, despite the fact that he's 1,000,000 years old. And I think that, just in general, if he had 6 starts, for instance, instead of 3, maybe we would feel a little bit differently. And if you had given him the reins out of the gate and let him get a Bo Nix season in last year, then you might feel a little bit differently. But here we sit with really no clarity about whether Penix is going to end up this year as your 12th or your 28th best quarterback. I really think that is as wide as the range could be. Is that crazy?
Yeah, and it's just such a limited sample. And I think the reason that they didn't start him sooner was there were flashes from Kirk. Basically, both Buccaneers games. He had some good games. He really tailed off. Some of it was injury. He was hurt in more way than one. He had the arm and the still coming off the Achilles injury at his age, learning a new system, new team. There's a lot to overcome there. He still had a couple of good games, and I think they not only were, you kind of married to the fact that you brought this guy in. You're paying him a lot of money. It's tough to put that guy on the bench, even if you did draft Michael Penix Jr. And then, eventually you go that way. But as Sam's pointing out, he had some easy rows to hoe. 3 of the worst run defenses in the league, Sam says. It's very hard to evaluate it. Although you did see flashes. There were some big time throws. There wasn't, a ton of big mistakes in my opinion. Like he was good, not great, but he was good. And it seems something you could build off of. It just wasn't a big enough sample for me to be like, yeah, his ceiling and floor are, a top half of the league. I can't start there with that small of a, sample of games that he's played. So it's going to be a number that moves pretty quickly based on how the beginning of the season goes for him. And, being number one in camp, that's going to be a big part of his success. That wasn't
great point.
It wasn't the case last year. Obviously, he was fully clipboard duty for, however many games until he got in at the end.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think ultimately, that the fact that you had a great EPA per dropback day against the Giants, congratulations. So did everyone. The fact that you lost to the Commanders when the division was still in the balance with a negative EPA day is a demerit. And then we mentioned it with Bryce Young and the degree that Week 18 game made his numbers look rosy last year. Same sort of deal here where, congratulations, a historically bad defense. You were able to move the ball on them. Like, this is a very, very incomplete sample to tell if he can play in the NFL. And I think that, just in general, the degree of certainty surrounding the Falcons is pretty low, and this is a wide range of outcomes potentially. And I actually think that the ceiling or the high end is probably capped, and the low end could be a surprise to the bad. I generally kind of want to spend one more second on like Raheem Morris has not really ever been a guy that I've been amazingly impressed by what he brings to the table. And Terry Fontenot is like he's just probably 32 out of 32 GMs. Is that crazy to say out loud?
You could make a case for it. I mean, just based on all the moves we've seen over the last handful of years here. Yeah, I'm not a big Morris guy. We've only got to see what the 1 year of Zach Robinson. He was, he hands touched in the hallway with McVay as they walked by each other. So he's one of the blessed that, came from that system. And truthfully, despite it all, with Kirk Cousins being hurt, having to throw a 29-year-old rookie in there in the middle of the season at the end, and Kirk having a huge slide in the middle of his year. Mm-hmm. This was a highly rated offense.
Yeah,
it was still a welcome. Like I think I'm a Zach Robinson guy.
I got one other.
It's Tampa Bay-esque where I don't really love this head coach, but the offense is going to cook a little and it's going to keep him employed for a few years.
I got to ask you a question. Do you get at all why there's been so much preseason ink spilled and breathless takes about the development of Caleb Williams in year 2, JJ McCarthy in year 2, Drake May in year 2, and do people remember that Michael Penix Jr. is in the mix? Is the second-year starter, and we are just as curious. Like he had
the best year out of all those guys.
This team has been generally wildly undercovered. Am I crazy?
That's interesting. I don't read a lot of the big rags where I'm just pulling in random news. I'm going and searching my news out. But,
sure.
And I really don't watch the ESPN shows. Stuff. But for the most part, you're right. Like the stuff you see come across the feed, it's a lot of, what's going to happen in Minnesota. Obviously the Bears. The Bears one with Ben Johnson, I think, is just such a big storyline because he was first overall. And Ben Johnson brings all this hype with him too. So I get that one.
I've heard a lot of takes on Jaden Daniels. Clearly top 5. Everyone who has that opinion is correct in my opinion. I've heard a lot of takes on Bo Nix, Andy. Sean Payton has said a lot of things about Bo Nix and how excited he is for this year too. And, he's firmly ensconced in that 12 to 15 range. And then, breathless takes about what to expect in year 2 from the other guys and nothing on Penix. He's sort of the one piece of the puzzle for this year's NFL campaign that I just have very little idea which way the wind is even really blowing here. And you can argue that JJ McCarthy finds himself in an amazing position. He's with a great, quarterback whispering coach. He's with Justin Jefferson and, amazing young pass protection. Michael Penix is in a pretty good spot too. You said it, Zach Robinson. He's got a pulse. He's got Bijan Robinson to work with out of the backfield, and Drake London is a certified wide receiver 1. The rest of kind of the cast of characters that you're going to be targeting are hit or miss, but there's a lot worse places for a young quarterback to find himself. And I guess I'm surprised that no one has really kind of made a point to really chart how he has done throughout this year, getting the reps at 1, as you mentioned, because presumably that should help his development. This was a key offseason, and I got nothing on it.
You know what I've been getting a lot of? This under 40 football highlights. I don't know. My Twitter feed is just constantly broken.
What are you talking
I'll
about?
click on it's like grown ass men who have jobs and it's like dudes in their late 30s who are playing organized tackle full pad football. And I mean, it's just guys getting hurt. I mean, it's what you're watching. It's like Jackass.
It's like
no,
Jackass,
I've been getting more of that than I've been getting Falcons news.
Okay. So I guess maybe that's where my head is at finally, which is that I'm going in blind and I'm prepared to make aggressive changes. But I will kind of summarize, say at the end, this defense isn't going to help the Falcons offense in any way, shape, or form, from what I can tell you. But this is far from the worst place to be, kind of asked to take a step forward developmental wise, considering the weapons and the protection and the system you're in. So, no other real thoughts on the 2024 Falcons other than to mention that Kirk Cousins' performance against the Chargers was memorably poor. That's the only one that really stood out in my mind as far as what the hell happened. 3 pick sixes, two or three pick sixes. I guess it couldn't have been 3 because they lost 13 to 2017. But a game-ending pick that was inexcusable and a chance to win. Really, that was stick a fork in this guy. For some reason, they rolled him back out at Minnesota, where it was a no contest before letting him beat the Raiders and then pulling the switcheroo. I didn't get a sense really that this schedule. I thought the schedule was very easy generally, even though you did play back-to-back Philly, Kansas City, who were your 2 Super Bowl contending teams, and you did beat Philly. Congratulations, hang a banner. But the whole middle stretch here, other than the games against your divisional winner Tampa, which you won to your credit, this was a really, really, really easy schedule last year. And it was still not enough for them to get into the playoff mix.
I'm sorry. I
just watching more clips on under 40 football.
It's completely unrelated, and I can't talk about it on the air. I will share it with you after.
Fair enough.
Something popped up on the screen, but it's the highs and lows are so weird with Kirk, right? Because it was very annoying. I feel like I bet against him in one of those Buccaneers games. It's like, why is he just God right now? What is going on?
The Tampa game, week 5.
And then, and then he just completely regresses. And some of it I do think was, and I don't know if we ever got full reporting on, the nature of the injury and how bad it was.
Yeah,
just
he claimed in the offseason that it was all injury.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that we got it in January. It's like, oh man, my shoulder, or arm, or whatever it was really bothering me. Well, that'd have been nice to know. Are the Falcons just the one team that's actually been penalized for lying about injury reports? Maybe he didn't let anybody know.
Yeah. Did the Falcons not trade Cousins because they're idiots? Because they couldn't find a trade suitor, or just they couldn't get the price that they needed in terms of getting his cash off the books?
And getting his cash off the book, that's the toughest part. If you watched him play and you wanted to take on that contract or even part of it, that's so hard. They can't cut him. The way his contract works, it's even more of a cap hit. If no one will trade for him, your best case scenario is to pay your backup quarterback $40 million, which is crazy. But to cut him is even worse for the books. So it kind of hamstrings you here a little too, as far as what you can do. And it was a good offseason, but
good team building, guys.
Yeah, good job.
Okay,
and that's why we're still stuck on the. We had these arguments all April. Why did we do both things? And then people see, they needed him. Like, you didn't need to do both things. You still didn't need to do both things. Do one or the other. You got to pick a lane because now you're fucked.
Mandatory mention that the Falcons still had an opportunity to get involved, a clean opportunity to get involved with Lamar Jackson if they wanted to. Elected not to because of the collusion that went on league-wide in that situation. And as a result, here you are paying somebody Lamar Jackson money to back up you're hopeful to get 80% out of his career Lamar Jackson player. Like, good luck. Anyway, stupid idiots. I don't have much else to say about their 2024 campaign, and I thought their offseason was conducted poorly. I think the process of trading a first-round draft pick for James Pierce Jr., even if he turns out to be the defensive rookie of the year, is still questionable. They give up a monster asset in next year's draft potentially, if your bet on the quarterback doesn't work, that's going to look even more appalling, right? Like if Penix is your 28th best quarterback this year, which in the scope of possibilities,
dude, honestly,
could look impossibly bad.
GMs don't get fired in the middle of the year usually. I mean, sometimes they will just clean house, like, all right, everybody's gone. But if he's like legitimately bad for the first 4 weeks, I don't know how long I wait. Like, boy, we need to get
the schedule, by the way, too. The Falcons aren't favored in a game till week 8, man.
Yeah. It's trial by fire in year 2 here. So, yeah, let's change gears here, talk a little about the offseason for your Atlanta Falcons. And fuck it, let's start with the draft. We never do the draft first, but Jalen Walker, everything guy, linebacker, he's an edge, although when he played in the preseason game the other week, it was all edge. It wasn't any linebacker snaps. He actually played some slot corner at Georgia. He does everything. He is a full-ass Swiss Army knife who might help you a lot with a very bad pass rush. He's a little dinged up right now. I think he's going to be good to go by the time we get going.
Isaiah Simmons 2.0.
Yeah. We talked up Isaiah Simmons a lot. That's a terrible comp. I hate it because I don't want to wish that upon anybody. Like, he'll be at his 4th team in 3 years. My God. We'll see. He looks good. A little small for a true edge rusher, but he's so athletic.
So you qualify him as a tweener?
A little bit of a tweener.
Oh, okay.
But he can do a lot. He can stay out there for, you talk about the 3-down back. He's a 3-down guy because he can do different things where it's just like, hey, you're sealing the edge off and doing whatever you need to be doing on early downs. And then you're just straight up blitzer on late downs if it's a pass rush. So he could come in pretty handy, I think. And that's why he went 15th overall. And then they doubled down, like you said, got rid of some picks and drafted again in the first round. James Pierce Jr., someone who was highly regarded as far as how he played. I feel like he had a character issue.
Yeah, he by all accounts not a great guy, but
not a great guy.
Never.
So he fell a little fast, explosive, bigger. He was he had like a 20% pressure rate, which is pretty big 2 years ago. But yeah, they traded a 26 first-round pick. They drafted basically your third safety because they need some depth there. Xavier Watts from Notre Dame.
Yeah,
he's going to be good in their zone-heavy scheme.
Well, congratulations to Sean McVay, who will probably get to hire Zach Robinson back after there's a cleaning of house this offseason, and will also get the pick to draft Matt Stafford's heir apparent, which will probably be a top 10 quarterback choice for the Rams next year. Yeah,
the Rams. How do you do it again? Not a lot of depth after that. They got a 7th-round tackle and a 4th-round safety, another safety, Billy Bowman, from Oklahoma. Losses included Grady Jarrett, who I don't know that you could really feel good about signing him to a long-term deal at this point. I guess the Bears signed him for 3 years, but you know how those are. It's usually, it's actually 2 years. Drew Dahlman is gone. He also signed with Chicago. He is your center. You have to fill in there. And then from there, it's like Landman, Simmons, Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore, RIP. 2 straight seasons of tearing a knee before he had to play a real game. You signed Leonard Floyd. He is a good edge rusher. He has been consistent. He is old. He is 33. It's a 1-year deal, though, so you're not married to him. You signed Morgan Fox. He's interior depth. He's another one that he can be a pass rushing downs if you need more guys up front doing that on late downs. You signed Divine Diablo from the Raiders, which you really need because essentially all you have right now for off-ball linebackers, Caden Ellis with Troy Anderson still banged up. You got another safety, Jordan Fuller. Mike Ford Jr. for depth at corner. Jamal Agnew, a 1-year deal for probably a returner. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of play at wide receiver. And then a couple, one of my favorite tweets when he was a first touchdown scorer for the Texans, Tegan Quitoriano, because somebody quote tweeted and says, "This is who my mom thinks wrote Pulp Fiction." Or something like that. Killed me.
I like that.
They'd been bringing a competitor for coup at kicker, Lenny Craig. They've had a little bit of a kicking competition, and then also signed Easton Stick, who we last seen play in the game where the Raiders were up 45-0 or something. Remember that game?
That
there
was
like
absolute ass kicking. Easton Stick had one of the lowlights of the playoff of the preseason so far too. From my memory.
You don't want him playing.
No. Well.
Resign Matthews, resign Hughes. You know, you got your guys you needed back in the building.
Big question you're going to have to ask yourself: if something happens to Penix, are you going to play Kirk Cousins? Because if Kirk Cousins gets hurt while he's out there in cleanup duty, then what the hell happens? I have no idea what the specifics of his contract are in terms of injury guarantee for this 3rd year there, but that would be absolute hilarity if they end up playing him in relief. He gets hurt, and then they have to pay him for next year, and it hamstrings their ability to do anything else with this roster, which has tons of holes. They basically did nothing on the offensive side of the ball, as you mentioned. 1 draft choice, no notable signings. And then the defensive side of the ball, like, hey, you have 3 bona fide really good players. I think Caden Ellis is good. I think Jesse Bates is good. I think AJ Terrell is good.
Jesse Bates. I mean,
those guys are good. Those guys are just flat out good.
With due respect to Terrell, Jesse Bates is like your best player.
Yeah, he's on defense, sure. Here's the problem, Andy. Defense is a weak link system, and the other 8 guys are the weak links. And so, I mean, maybe the rookies come in and inject talent and seriousness to this defense, maybe. But you know who's probably not going to be the chef that stirs up the surprise, Michelin star meal? Jeff Ulbrich.
Yeah.
Why?
Of Jets.
Why?
Yeah, I'm not so sure on the. Well, I'm not one to question Terry Fontenot and the hirings that we're going to make and the leadership of this team. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I wasn't crazy about that. Omelet. They only had the 1 first round, but I mean it was very early 2nd round. Are you talking about Rook or Because that's not a name that's going to get anyone excited for this defense either.
No, you need him, no.
He's going to play.
He's going to play. Yeah, he played 8 games for you last year with 0 starts, and he was a non-factor. All right, well.
Yeah, that guy, LOL. Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, he used like a top 35 pick on him, and he did not start on a defense that was pretty devoid of talent on the front 7 outside of Anderson, who kept getting hurt. And I mean, Ellis is good.
Yeah. You know, you might have wanted to give like a second look to, I don't know, Cooper DeJean, who went 4 picks later. Whatever. Anywho, yeah, this is not a good defensive roster. The moves you made felt desperate, and like again, these guys could end up. Divine Diablo, he has a very effective year for you, anchoring the that second level. Leonard Floyd, maybe he gets a handful of pressures, but you know what I don't love? I don't love when Dan Quinn goes to Washington, brings Leonard Floyd with him, specifically as like a pass rush, a team that needed pass rush, and it got a good season for him, and then said, "Thanks for your service." Like, it's usually a sign that there's not much left, or whatever they're paying him is not what the guys that know he is worth would have offered him. So Leonard Floyd probably going to be a bit of a disappointment. And maybe you don't even really want him taking snaps away from James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker, who you're trying to develop. So, but this looks like a serious work in progress defensively, and I do not know how they are keeping teams into the low to mid 20s. Which means if you're winning games on your schedule this year, Andy, you're doing it scoring 30.
I made a bet this morning on the NFC South.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't find Bucky 2K, but I did find Bucky 15.
Oh,
I hate making these.
Oh no! Now we're talking.
No, I hate making these season-long bets where it's just like him to hit 1,000 yards. Because his total is like 1025.5, and it's like minus 115. Like, that doesn't do it for me. I want to bet him to have an outlier season.
Can you say that again?
So Bucky,
his over under is 1025.
1025.
He started 3 games last year and went 11-22.
That's the thing. His snap count spiked at the end of the year. Suddenly they're like, oh, they did the Weebay. Oh, and he's like, oh, Shorty was a cop. It's like, no, it's this guy is so much better than everybody else you're trying to trot out there with him. And in the final 2 games, he was like, oh, what if he was in on 70% of the snaps? Like, that would be better for us. And I don't know if that's going to hold through the season, but it feels like a 60% snap share. And yeah, he's gonna have like minimum, if he's not hurt, it feels like 1,400. So I played him to get 1,500 yards plus it's like plus 1,370 at Chris.
I like that a lot.
And yeah, that felt like a fun bet.
13-1.
Yeah, 13-1 to have a Sam here played Bucky offensive player of the year, 50-1. I might have to hunt some of that down too, because that's basically, I wanted to bet Bucky 2,000 yards.
God,
and
dude, this is so
Sam,
solid.
Sam's kind of doing that.
Yeah, because like they figured it out late in the season what they had with him, and now he's just a bona fide one.
And not to make this a Bucks podcast, but I mean the story is three straight days of shit talking run defenses.
Yes,
that is a third of your season is played against this division.
Gosh, dang it. I really like that bet. That was a good one, man.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, so he had 83 touches for 419 yards in the first 9 weeks of the season last year, Andy. And then they realized what they had, and he got 124 touches for 700 yards in the last 8 weeks of the season. So that kind of a pace, it gets you there, which is sick. Good job, man. I like that one. God, they even held him out of like a couple of games in that sample too. Damn, dude. Damn. Well,
schedule. Let's take a look at who these Falcons play, including the pre-mentioned Bucky Irving, your offensive player of the year. NFL honors. Bucky, what kind of tux do you think he's going to wear?
To start the season, especially nice because there's no Godwin in that game. There's no White. There's no Worfs. So there's a little bit of an incentive to lean into the run in that game. McMillan, this is Bucky Irvin's season. Man, we'll talk about this more tomorrow, I guess.
Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, here's what stands out to me. Your Dogs. First 6 games of the season, 7 of the first 8 games of the season. You have an early bye. You have a lot of really difficult travel in the middle of the season, including an international trip to, I forget where. Berlin? Is Atlanta, Indy, Berlin? I think it is. Miami and Washington is in Madrid. Atlanta, Indy, I believe, is Berlin.
It's in Germany. I can't remember if it's Yeah, it's Olympic Stadium in Berlin. I couldn't remember if it was in a different city, but first you take Manhattan.
Yeah. So like the way this is stacked with all of your winnable games towards the end of the year or middle end of the year, like basically week 10 on, not great for kind of developing the confidence of a young offense, and not great for, if you are going through the offensive growing pains of effectively a rookie quarterback, and you are playing uneven football there, who's going to have no problem hanging points on you? Tampa, Washington, Buffalo, San Francisco, maybe even Miami and New England, right? Like there is a very real world where these teams are scoring third on you pretty consistently. And we get to week 10 when you're at Indianapolis. And like at this point, everybody in the entire NFL is like 32 out of 32 defense. No question. Like that is very possible halfway through the season.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's great that he played last year, and it's great that he gets training camp with the team, but it's a tough start against, Tampa Bay and maybe even Minnesota. These are offenses are going to be able to put it on you, and you have to keep up with them. And in Minnesota's case, it's a terribly tough defense to play against. Tampa's, if nothing else, it's going to be more on your back because Tampa's a really tough run defense. You're not going to be able to lean on the run as much as you hope against Tampa Bay. Carolina, I don't think I can say nice things about their defense, but, if Bryce continues to improve, it's not the easiest game to go back-to-back and have a division opponent right there. And then Washington by Buffalo, San Fran. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. I wouldn't want the early bye either.
No.
I kind of want the middle of the pack bye for my guy. And then, yeah, if he survives that, there is an easy stretch. Miami, Indy, Carolina at home, Saints, Jets, Seattle. Like, that's not a bad stretch, even with the back-to-back roadies.
If you're probably losing the Washington mini game, you're probably losing the Tampa game. If you lose that Carolina game on the road, week 3, again,
going
the
to
Carolina
0-4, yeah.
Oof, man, do not. That stinks out loud. That is literally like that is a nightmare.
Then the Falcons are going to be they'll be on First Take and whatnot.
Yeah, at least you come out of the bye and you're in prime time and standalone games 2 weeks in a row.
Jesus, against essentially the co-favorites in the AFC and the Niners at home.
Yeah, fun. All right, this is bad vibes to start.
Yeah, the short week across country to play the Niners. That stinks too.
Yeah. If cool heads prevail and they don't pull Penix for performance reasons and they don't fire Raheem Morris for lackluster start to the season, then the sledding gets pretty favorable come week 10. You're home for important games like Miami, Carolina, Seattle. But I gotta be honest, man. Like I'm not seeing any upside in that stretch. I think there's a very real world where all of this is you end up being a dog in almost all of your games. If you start cold, your market rating is going to drop pretty quickly. I think. Really, if you lose at Carolina week 3, I think you're going to end up like a -4 market wide, and then you're probably a dogs in all of those games through the middle, and you might be in deep trouble as far as actually kind of making anywhere close to your win total. This is potentially mucky water here for the Falcons, I think. Don't like it.
That said, would you think about using him in Survivor this year? I think it's a strong maybe, Drew, because we are brought to you by Circa Survivor. I'm in the Circa right now, finally.
Yeah.
Circa Survivor, Circa Millions. Also, big shout out to the Circa VIP sign-in. I don't know what their name was, but I checked in at 9 a.m. That's kind of hard to do in a hotel. I did say I'll take a room wherever. I don't give a shit. But it was really cool of them get me checked in early because I needed to do the show. And check-in is usually at 3 p.m. So the 6 hours early for free was awful nice of them. I think it's a maybe for me, Drew, because if you're using them, it's in that week 8 to 14 stretch.
I would have said week 18 only.
Well, no, but I think let's say they overperform.
Sure.
And then we're feeling better. The market rating is going up. Maybe a certain team that made shit pretzels isn't going up. and suddenly they're a 6-point favorite at Indy. There's a
because that's a neutral.
There's a few games.
Neutral game.
Oh yeah. That one still is in Germany, but yeah, the Miami, the Indy game, the Saints game, even on the road against the Saints, there, some of those teams could go so far down the crapper that you're all right using them, but I don't think you can plan. That's what I'm saying. You can't plan on it. It has to be hey, they're my B or C option in some of those weeks. Just in case.
I have a spoiler alert. I finished my sim project for optimal survivor path. The Falcons did not feature in any of the top 10 optimal paths. Their most optimal usage was a borderline top 20 path using them in week 18 against the Saints. And that feels dicey because who the hell knows what's going on there? Like, that could be the freaking Easton Stick show for all I could tell you. So I would say you are almost certainly saving the Falcons until it is so long that they have no future value and you just end up passing on them. That's kind of vibe I get.
Probably a pass.
Yeah. Anyway.
I can't wait to compare notes before we decide on who's going to lose. No, for Survivor. Before we decide on who's losing week 1 for us and just embarrassing the hell out of us.
I still haven't entirely decided on many entries. If I'm going to go full boat or if I'm going to just try to be a little conservative. Not sure. Like, so I don't know.
The millions is interesting. The Survivor is exciting.
Oh, of course. And the millions is probably going to have an overlay.
Yeah. That's the other part too. Like,
might be small.
I think a guy would do better in the millions, but it's the difference between like blackjack and slots. Like,
more ways to win in the millions too, with the quarter prizes and the booby prize and all that.
Yeah, you're not going to get the rolling jackpot in the millions, although first place still pays pretty well. So we'll figure it out. Not a big Survivor team, these Falcons. That's 3 in a row we've had in this division so far.
And picking against the NFC South in Survivor is going to be a very favorable strategy, Andy.
Let's get to ratings. Let's talk about how we have this team rated. And actually, right now, I'm gonna Google Caleb McGary. Okay.
Let's talk about
no new news.
Offensive coordinator and a quarterback rating first. Again, like, considering the lack of talent that existed for the Giants, Commies, Panthers closing salvo last year, and the very modest EPA per drop back that Penix was able to generate, combined with pretty uninspiring completion percentage over expectation numbers, but a good ability to avoid the sack and gross turnover worthy play. I am at a 2.6 for QB. I mean, that honestly feels favorable. I could see this going down.
I cannot find my rating tab. I have so much stuff open right now. Thank God, there it is. So I looked, and I'm comparing it to other, because this one is a little more subjective than some of my other stuff where I actually have data, especially for the teams that didn't have a lot of turnover, and I can actually say this is basically how they played run stop last year, and we added one new guy. It shouldn't change a lot, but this is so subjective. I went with 3.1.
Okay,
and I looked at where we had Carolina as a 4. I feel like everything you said, but I'm much higher on this offensive coordinator than you, I think.
Okay.
Maybe that's where I'm getting my bump from. Is I liked what he was able to do, and it's hard to give him a real fair shake too with the the turmoil at the position last year.
That's fair. I don't think we're that far apart either. It's not that far.
No, it's
how
not
much
big.
higher are you? Just out of curiosity, maybe we'll just save this for next week. But I'm wondering where you're going to come in with a player like Cam Ward in Tennessee, because I'm not that far between a guy like Penix and a guy like Cam Ward. I don't have a strong enough reason to expect Penix is going to be that much better.
Yeah, and that's another one too. Where how do you rate the offensive coordinator there?
Yeah, great question. Not well, but maybe I just don't know.
No, I think that's a huge question mark. Like, we got excited about a couple of passes in the preseason, but I think you just start really low and adjust really fast again, like we did with Jaden.
Okay, fair enough. 2.6 and 3 seems reasonable. That's going to anchor us as a probably surely bottom 10 offenses, I'm guessing, even though skill group, very good. I like these guys. I know that Darnell Mooney is a huge important part, and I don't have much hope that he is instantly available. Are we thinking he gets pupped? I mean, it's a 4 week kind of
I think so. It's a shoulder injury. It seems like it's, the main injury stuff is Storm Norton. We don't know. Darnell Mooney, we're not super sure. It's still basically week 1 status is unclear. Troy Anderson's getting popped.
Okay.
I think I don't know that for sure. Minimum, I think he misses a week or 2. He might get the full 4-week pup treatment, but Darnell Mooney is still recovering from the shoulder injury, and no one seems to know if he's going to be able to play week 1 or not.
Okay.
The depth isn't great.
Yeah, it starts getting weird as soon as we're past Drake London on the depth chart. If Darnell Mooney is unavailable, it starts getting weird fast.
Yeah, like who's the guy I mentioned? Jamal Agnew.
Yeah,
I mean, he's kind of a slot guy too, though. But you do have Kadarius Hodge, and he played some. I mean, he was the winning touchdown in that one game. But yeah, you don't want Casey Washington and Kadarius Hodge have to play a lot of snaps. You want Ray in the slot, and then Mooney and Drake out wide.
Bijan Robinson, top 5 player at his position.
Yes. Maybe
Drake London, top 10 player at his position.
Yes,
top 12.
I think so. Bijan's probably top 3. I mean, he might just be behind the 2 big names. He's right there.
Okay.
He's very, very good. And truthfully, you do have depth at running back. Tyler Algier is very good.
Yes.
He's a great second piece. So you have an elite running back, elite wide receiver, not elite wide receiver, but he's very, very, very good. He's getting close to that spot. You have Kyle Pitts on this team, who someday is going to work out.
Although
for
he's
somebody.
got Quentin Tarantino breathing down his neck. So
yeah, I think we might just have to divorce ourselves from the name that Kyle Pitts. It's a big name, and it's just not going to ever happen. Except to make fetch happen
in the league.
Yeah. Just middle of the pack guy. The depth at wide receiver sucks, and there's some people are hurt. So
I did get a good laugh at people comparing the RAS score of Anthony Richardson to Kyle Pitts as a tight end. Did you see that getting around yesterday?
Yeah.
That was great.
Anyway. I wonder if Richardson ends up somewhere. I put it as a 6.25.
I'm a 6.5. Okay, cool.
I would have gone higher if Mooney was healthy. Offensive line is tough. I had this as a 6.5. I'm going to leave it as a 6.5. But if Caleb McGary drops out, I'm probably going to 5 and a quarter. I mean,
it's the blindside, man. Blindside tackle with the depth stinks.
It does stink. It's probably slightly below average. You're right. So obviously Matthews is good. He's been around for a while, but he's still very good. Matthew Bergeron's good. Chris Lindstrom, maybe the best guard. Ryan Newsel, they seem to think he's going to be fine stepping in center. We'll see. But that was the other plus for this was besides Newsel, you had continuity. You had 4 guys. Yeah. You had 4 guys coming back, and now you don't even have Storm. That's where you're at. You don't even have a Storm Norton to fill in. You're going to put Elijah Wilkerson in. So hopefully Caleb is just dinged up and it's a mild sprain or something, and he sits out a week or two, and he's back, and we're ready to go. But because there's a big difference between your blindside protector playing, and he's very good, or you're putting in, Elijah Wilkerson, who's been on 8 different teams since he came into the league a decade ago. Yeah, Denver, Chicago, Atlanta, Arizona, back to Atlanta. He's been UFA'd a lot.
Okay. I am the 20th ranked offense for the Falcons. If I drop my offensive line number in the absence of McGary, they are 26th. So he matters pretty significantly to both their overall power number and in particular the expectation for like what's a fair total for a Falcons game. So very keen to find out what the deal is there. The defense is bad. This
kind of is
run stop. I feel like I'm coming in high. I'm at a 3.3, 33rd percentile. Where are you at?
3. I went with a 3. Okay. It was lower. Like I do give them some credit for some of the moves, but none of them are going to fix us quickly. Like a lot of the additive pieces, the draft picks and Leonard Floyd are more pass rushers. I don't see how it gets any better. Divine Diablo's fine, but I'd rather have Troy Anderson out there, and he's not going to be out there to start. So it is a bad run-stop defense. And, yes, this is funny. The 29th, 30th, and 31st ranked defenses are in this division for me. I
have 28th, 30th, and 31st. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's something that's Bucky Irving snorting and getting ready to go.
All right. Pass rush for me is a 2.4. I guess maybe the rookies could flash and this gets up closer to an average, but their pressure rates last year were atrocious. And I don't, for me at least, Leonard Floyd's not going to move the needle.
Leonard Floyd moves the needle. It just not by very much at all. Like he's been consistently effective. It hasn't ever at this point in his career. I don't think it's going to be. This is what fixes the defense. We're a good pass rush now. I have this as a 3, and I'm a little higher just because they got 2 rookies. What are the odds they both suck? Like Jalen Walker's good. I know he's a little bit dinged up right now, but one of them has to be at least serviceable, right? So I give him a little bump for just if not quality, quantity. You threw a lot at it. Something has to stick here.
All right. Coverage for me is a 3.2. Very uninspired by your CB2 and your nickel. AJ Terrell, fine. Bates, good. But yeah, Mike Hughes and D. Alford, I think are beatable.
3.6 here. Yeah, kind of. Jesse Bates, your best player on defense. He's great. But outside of CB1, it's pretty weak. And it wasn't a strength of your defense last year either.
What's your rating for DeMarco Helms? I was surprised to see him featured prominently on the first string defense.
I guess when they brought in Fuller, and I know not every safety is fully interchangeable. When they brought in Fuller, I thought that was going to be maybe the running mate, or maybe even this 3rd-round rookie Watts. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot on him. I'm just penciling him in as a replacement level player.
He was a 7th round 2023 draft choice by this team, and I literally
homegrown.
I have a 0 for him because I just don't know what the hell is going on here. What am I missing something? How is this guy a starting safety in the NFL?
I think because who else you have on your roster and you need someone out there. I'm trying to look at what
he started 4 games for the Falcons in 2023, and he was unavailable for them last year. I'm guessing because of some injury or because he wasn't good enough to make the team. Is that possible? Was he a practice squad player?
I don't know. I have to check on that. I think he's actually a corner too. He's listed a lot of places as a corner. So I don't know if they're just running more of one of these other guys is actually going to be a safety, and he's out there as like a slot corner. I'm going to have to go look at their alignments now. That's interesting. I don't think it's going to get in. I'm going to be like surprised and be like, oh, this is a better team than I thought. Although Mike Hughes is good at times. He's fine. But D. Alford's kind of a weak spot. And then, as you mentioned, the second safety spot is going to be a mismatch of guys who are replacement level or below.
Okay. Where's my Mike Hughes number? Yeah, for some reason my grade on Hughes from last year was pretty uninspiring. I don't know why. Anyway, all right, 28th best defense. Congratulations, you're better than the Saints and the Panthers. Maybe.
You are by a little.
By a teeny little bit. What do you think the Saints? I'm sorry. What do you think the Panthers Falcons total closes week 3? I'm sure it starts with a 5, right?
Yeah, that's a 52, ain't it?
Probably. Yeah. All right. Intangibles.
So Morris is, if you go look at Aaron Schatz's aggressiveness index, like I was saying, he was like 5th. And I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't know if they're actually like an aggressive team. I'm going to have to go back and look at some of those. I'd love to do that. Just pull up an NFL Plus, pull up all the fourth downs that they ran a play on and see like the situations and be like, was this a good decision or what happened here? But it's still, he's a 3. I made Morris a 3.
I was at 3.5, and even I thought maybe I was going to come in high. Special teams, Young Ho Koo going to win that kicking job.
You know what? He wasn't that bad last year. He actually
he hurt.
I don't know if what happened. I looked at his stats. I'm gonna have to poke around on that. He struggled a little here and there, but he ended up with a pretty decent kicking percentage. He didn't miss a single extra point. The rest of the special teams is pretty weak. FTN's DVOA has them 29th in special teams DVOA. Somebody else did a ranking. Somebody at SI did a ranking, and they took, net punt, opponent's punt, and all that stuff. And they also had the Falcons at 28th, where basically the only thing they did good was field goal percentage.
So what's the number you think? 3?
Yeah, I went with a 3.
Okay. My current total number then for the Falcons is a minus 2.19. That makes them 24th best in the NFL. Again, if we account for a Caleb McGary injury, then that drops to, I'm trying to see, minus 3.56. Their market rating is minus 1.94. That feels rosy. I'm projecting this team to win 7 games.
I'm at 7.242. Which seems unlikely, but if you round that down, I'm right there with you. I'm a little more negative. My rating right now is minus 2.2 flat.
Oh, so what did I say? Minus 2.19? Yeah.
2.19. Yeah, we were very close.
Right on top of that.
I have them as a 42nd percentile team. Again, winning 7.2 games this year. So like I said, if this offense takes a jump forward, I love to do this. Let's say Penix is a top 10 quarterback. What's my quarterback OC rating at that point? 6.5?
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference. That's 2 wins.
Okay.
Then suddenly you're at 9.2 wins. If your offensive skill position, everybody takes it. Let's say it's Pitt's year. Let's go to a 7.25. Suddenly you're closer to 10 wins. So it doesn't take much to really elevate a team, I think, and when the elevators on this team, the possible elevators are the quarterback / the skill position group team, and God willing, Caleb McGary's okay.
Okay, I have a feeling that
was hurt last year. Okay,
what do you think week 1 closes against the Bucks? Minus 3.
It feels like doesn't it vacillate a little around that?
Yeah, I think there's very few sides week 1 that stand out to me. I'm not that far off market for enough teams to say that there's like slam dunk, clear and obvious bets, but Tampa getting to 3 seems pretty right. And I know they have some issues. It's 1.5 right now. Yeah, I feel like Tampa is kind of going to flirt with or close 3.
Yeah, matchup wise, even with the receivers dinged up, it just feels like they should be able to score on this defense because everyone should. And first week of Penix playing, and like we said, a good run stop unit in Tampa Bay to kind of take away Robinson a little. You're not going to be able to lean on him to have a huge game. He may still have. He's very good. He may still. Yeah, he may still have a huge game. Yeah, it's a good. If nothing else, we can say that Todd Bowles can still dial up a defense.
Okay. Is this a candidate team for alt under for you?
I was looking at win totals today. So, if you're going to play the over-under and you lean under, like you said, it's more than likely that they lose, 12 games?
Yeah.
If Penix is bad, there's still winnable games. But if he's bad, the offense isn't clicking. The defense isn't picking him up at all. And, it's just going to be a really disastrous season where you're going to have to reset. Be like, was there a third quarterback we can pay to try to fix this?
That's funny. Under 5.5 plus 330 kind of popped my attention. Because if you don't split, if you don't sweep Panthers Saints, I don't know that you're getting 7.
That is the biggest issue.
6 is a little, and 5 isn't that hard to come up with, and that's a nice price plus 230.
Yeah, it feels like 3-1 is the number. Split with Carolina, sweep the Saints. But you do have, like I said, Indy, Miami. There's some other games on there that you win. If Penix is truly not ready for prime time, not going to be a big time quarterback, you can lose to the Saints. It's hard to do, but it's hard to beat a division foe if you don't have a quarterback. It doesn't matter how bad they are.
Yeah, you throw out the records when the Saints and the Falcons get together, even if those records are 0-10 and 0-10. Somebody's got to win.
Someone's has got to go.
The Saints.
Betting wise, I don't think there's a lot outside in the award markets I'd want to look at. If you do really like Jalen Walker, DPOI, I think that's a really hard sell because it's just not going to be a good defense, and it's going to be tough for him to probably get the reps that he needs against passing downs to put up some counting stats.
Yeah. Oh man, did you see that first coach fired Mike McDaniels down to plus 175?
I feel like that's an opening to bet somebody else.
That's kind of what I was. Now that's what I'm thinking. I got a decent damn bet on him to go first. What if?
Yeah, now you got to play.
Steals my lunch.
Now you got to play defense. Well, of the real bad teams, like the Saints aren't going to just give up immediately on Kellen.
No, the Saints aren't.
Unless he goes full Urban, nobody's going to do that again.
Shane Steichen is probably in the conversation. It sounds like there's something up with the front office head coach there.
Steichen and the move to start Daniels doesn't feel like hey, this is what's best for the franchise. It feels like I would like to keep my job, and he can at least not embarrass us. And I don't want to try to develop this other guy at all.
Yeah, Morris is 25-1. Amazingly priced in the ballpark of the Kyle Shanahans of the world, 25-1. What? Okay. Maybe there's something.
Steichen's got to be like second or third favorite, right?
Steichen's third. Yeah.
Okay. And then
favorite is McDaniel runaway, Brian Dable second, Steichen third, fourth.
I think Dable gets the year. Really, we said it before. I do think Dable gets the year.
Oh, I agree.
He has a whole handful of draw fours where he can just be like, try a different quarterback. 5 more weeks, try a different quarterback, and
he just has to work his magic for like 3 weeks in December and January and say, Jackson Dart, like, we are vibing. I got this guy playing great. You can't get rid of me now. Like,
he might have the hand to stay next year.
I think he might. I honestly think he might. And if he doesn't have the hand to stay next year, then he's getting the pink slip on January 5th. And there could be other ones handed out prior to that. Yeah. No, let's play some more. Let's think about how this goes down. I can't believe how short McDaniel is now.
This is interesting too. Like a team with a very big disparity between offense and defense that could just continue to somehow lose games that they score 30 points in.
Well, Cincinnati's first 2 games are Cleveland, Jacksonville. We really think that.
Oh yeah. What are you talking about? So you're crazy.
Yeah,
if they lose those games,
yeah, maybe they start 0-2. But
can you imagine?
Yeah. The issues with Cincinnati are they the 32nd best defense?
Flacco dices them.
Yeah, you know what? I would like to. We should have checked. Does Bucky Irving get to play the Bengals this year? That'd be a nice little way to help get him across the line. I don't think he does though. No, not seeing it. Damn. I'm excited to look at Bucky's schedule tomorrow.
Yeah, there's some tough defenses in there, but there's still 15. Some very easy ones. Yeah. Like I don't respect the Patriots defense all that much. He'll run against the Cardinals. He'll run against the Dolphins. You do get some easy ones in there as well.
Okay. Well, final thoughts on the Falcons. This is a team that I would very sincerely consider heavy alt unders on, just in case Penix is your 28th best quarterback in the NFL, which is within the scope of possibility.
I dig it.
All right,
boys and girls. We'll be back next week. Hit the thumbs up. Go and sign up for Survivor.
We'll be back next week.
Subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. Live, me and Drew together in the same room from the Circa Ballroom. If you're in town, you can stand in front of us and fucking make faces at us or whatever you want to do.
Tell us what idiots we are.
Yeah, you can yell. Try to get on the mics. They'll probably kick you out if you do that shit. But